There you go. Look at that.
Are we recording?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So let the editing begin.
All right.
Okay, welcome everybody. We were asked if we might be interested in...
This is Tom Austin.
Yes.
I'm Sarah Patterson. Go ahead.
Sounds good. We were asked if we could do a presentation on the activities of the Adirondack Mountain Club as our local chapter, called the Susquehanna chapter. So put this together for you and hope that you learned something about it. The club is based on membership. It is a membership organization. Okay, so I'll say that for long-term participation in anything, there is an annual membership, which is not prohibitive, but it is something that is a fee for play. Okay? Brought some table materials that we'll point out later, and we will take questions at any time. And we do have the latest newsletter for each of you, and we may, during the talk, refer to particular pages where there are details we let our members and people on our list know of activities, and I think this newsletter then captures quite a few of those kinds of activities. This is a group shot of one of our hikes. Hopefully a bunch of smiling, happy faces. So this is what we told you we would talk to you about, our local activities in that first paragraph. And the second paragraph, as a member of the local chapter, which is Otsego, Delaware, and Shenango County residents, we're part of a larger organization, the Adirondack Mountain Club. You're actually a member of the Adirondack Mountain Club, and then you designate your chapter. And they're interested in, it's going to be worth repeating because I'm going to say it and then Sarah's going to take it. If they're a large organization looking to protect New York State wildlands and waters by promoting outdoor recreation, building a statewide constituency of land steward advocates. So you're locally involved, but you're part of a larger organization.
So there's our logo, Adirondack Mountain Club. This is the mission statement, that it works to protect New York State wild lands and waters, promoting responsible outdoor rec, and building a statewide constituency. So a lot of the focus of the Adirondack Mountain Club is stewardship. So it's like keeping the Adirondacks and environs clean and protected, but they want people to responsibly use it. This is a little bit of the history of the club. The club was, the idea of forming the ADK was conceived by a gentleman named Meade Dobson. He was an official on the New York State Association of Real Estate Boards, but he was also the secretary of the Palisades Interstate Parks Trails, who he felt there was a need for a private organization to help the state develop trails and shelters to make more remote areas of the Adirondacks more accessible to hikers and backpackers. He was encouraged by a gentleman called George Pratt, who was the Conservation Commissioner of New York State, and also William Howard, who was the Superintendent of Forests. So they were all invited to an organizational meeting, attended by about 40 people. Took place on December 5th, 1921. It took place, I thought this was hysterical. There's a log cabin at the top of the Abercrombie and Fitch sporting goods store in New York City. So that's where they met. In the log cabin on the top of the Abercrombie and Fitch store. So they formed a committee representing outing, recreational education, all kinds of that. So the club's objectives were to develop and maintain hiking trails, to also construct and maintain campsites, and to publish trail maps and guidebooks, and educate the public regarding conservation of natural resources and prevention of forest fires. So in the early years, there were very few trails. Some are very legacy trails, but very few. They supplemented the work of the New York State Conservation Department. They cleared and marked 140 miles of trails. One of the first trails constructed by club members was the 133-mile Northville Placid Trail, which traverses the ADK, the Adirondacks now. Gifford Pinchot was the first chief of the U.S. Forest Service. He was an early member, as well as Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt. So, let me see. And I'll just wrap this up. In an introduction to the club's 20th anniversary annual report in 1942, then President Roosevelt wrote, "This is an appropriate time to emphasize the club's initial statement of policy, adhered to and acted upon vigorously throughout the years, that the Adirondack Forest Preserve belongs to the people of the state of New York, and that we believe in a continuing policy that shall give the widest and wisest use of the forest to all."
One thing, a footnote on this, ADK is like the most commonly used, logo by so many organizations, commercial and not-for-profit.
Yeah, when you're talking about the mountain.
It's unbelievable. So the park is its own entity. That's something different, right? There are lots of uses of ADK, lots and lots. The mountain club that Sarah just talked about, and we're a part of, are users and protectors of the land. We don't own anything local, and they own very little property. It's a human resource to help cultivate and develop the priorities that she said. So there's a real difference. Even Adirondack 46ers is a different group, a subset of the Adirondack Mountain Club. It's just so commonly used. They have identity confusion. For instance, sometimes when they go to Albany, they ask for resources and things. It's hard to be identified as the mountain club.
Yeah.
Okay?
So this is our official 501c3. We're governed by a volunteer board of directors and supported by staff. So we have an executive director, Courtney Worrell, who was just hired last year. We have CFO, good folks.
So, club. Lots of times we would say the mothership. We're sending a report to the
mothership.
So it's the club. ADK Club has 23,000 members, and it's not just New York State. There are chapters elsewhere, Jersey, Connecticut. They have chapters elsewhere. Wherever there's a group that gets together and be chartered,
Who wants to be part of
they're
the
okay
club.
with it. They've lost some chapters too. They had a New York City chapter, for instance, and there no longer is. So they have 27 chapters regionally in the Northeast, okay? 24. No, 24. No, 20, they used to have 27. They used to have 30,000 members too. And with COVID and other type activities, less and less people are staying in membership, aren't they?
And we had recently the Albany chapter merged, the Schenectady chapter. So that's kind of what's happening.
So we're the chapter, the 24 of the chapters. So we
That's
go
our
by the
logo.
chapter. Yeah, so the logo up top is the club, our local logo. Give us in 60 seconds, who
Yes, it was Jerry Shield, local member of the chapter, designed our little logo, which is now attached. So it's on our.
And
it's on my
you can see the center wandering river that is shaped like an S. That was intentional in her drawing. That was intentional locally to put that patch designed together for us. So we represent Otsego, Delaware, and Shenango counties, and our connection, there is an advisory council of people who are designated and on this board, and our local member happens to be one Sarah Patterson.
Yeah, so the advisory council actually was established in 2020. It's a fairly recent development. Originally, what happened was each chapter was a member of the board of directors. So it was all those chapters. So in 2020, there was a bylaw change, and the advisory council was established. And the bylaw state is to advise and provide counsel to the board of directors, and to create a forum for all the ADK chapters to work together toward a common voice, and also assist, support, and advocate for chapters. So now the AC, Advisory Council, has one representative that sits on the board of directors. So it's a little governance change. And that was established in 2020.
The club's budget is in the multi-millions and has many sources of revenue. Membership is maybe a quarter to a third. Federal and state grants and other types of projects make up the rest of the funding. So as federal funding has stopped for quite a few, ecologically, geared organizations and projects, ADK's taken a bit of a hit, and then COVID caused a hit because Canadians stopped coming. This is northern New York State. This is prime recreation area, and since COVID and relationships, there are less tourists from Canada side, which was a revenue draw.
Yeah.
But we're still very strong, still going well, and still advocating for its mission. Whatever size it still has this long-range mission. So we're pleased to have Sarah attending these meetings to connect us to the club and to the governance of the whole organization.
Yeah, the council meets 5 times a year, mostly on Zoom because we're all spread out. We try to meet once a year in Lake Placid, face to face.
So, chapter-wise, we will be 50 in 2027. It was originated here in Oneonta in 1977. On the right, that's a picture at the 30th anniversary. And Jerry Shield is on the far right holding the t-shirt up. She's the artist who did it.
Yeah.
And Joe Koenig is in the middle between the Swains, Molly and Bill Swain in the back. And Ernie on the left, he's an original member. And Kathy Kenny there.
Yeah.
So they were 7 of the original or very early members who were able to attend the 30th anniversary. And Ernie and Kathy are still living, and we hope to interview them as part of the celebration to get a history for our 50th anniversary. We're hoping to feature and publicize what we've done over the years as a way of, just causing attention to our local efforts and what we've done and the wonderful, wonderful people in our organization. Because it's an organization that is of people, like almost anything. So we hope to probably have a dinner celebration, other features. One other thing we're looking to do, ADK has chapter can host an all ADK event. And we've signed up to host a fall outing in 2027 locally. So by example, the 2026 is up at Saranac Lake. It's a weekend. They have 150 people signed up to come, including 4 Austins. My brother and I are wives.
Paul and Sarah.
And Paul and Sarah. There's 6 of the 150. And all sorts of hiking, biking, paddling. Everybody comes and they structure. So we want to host in our 3-county area in 27 a similar grandiose outing for the whole membership and others to come and participate.
So we're attending this year's.
To learn.
A little, yeah,
That's for sure.
intel. this is an example of the ADK Club. If you go on the website, there's an events calendar. They hold all kinds of events, guided trips, skills workshops, you know, which includes like how to be a first responder in the Adirondacks, in the mountains, map and compass fundamentals, for example. They'll do guided trips on all the various high peaks, naturalist series. Yeah, there's an interesting one, yoga for hikers, that kind of stuff. We also maintain 2 lodges, so the club owns the Adirondack Lodge that's at Cart Lake, and also the Johns Brook Lodge in Keene Valley. Johns Brook is only accessible hiking in, so you can't drive to it, so it's a little bit of a challenge. You might always get a charge of. They've showed us pictures of when they have the annual work day for Johns Brooks to open it up and, you know, do any repairs, and you have to go in the winter and stuff. It's like they schedule the helicopters for a day because it's expensive. And they like bring in and they drop the materials, and it's quite exciting. So yeah, so Johns Brook is at the foot of the Great Range. The easiest route is a 3.5-mile route from Keene Valley. So, anyway, a little bit of that.
Most of their activities are in the areas closest to their properties. This is the club hosting very professional, wonderful activities. And then at the chapter levels, scattered all around, we have our own level of things that we do. So most of these
things
you go to the Adirondacks to these activities. So one of the things that is the bread and butter of our chapter, 52 weeks of the year, every Tuesday, we go out year-round. Could be a hike, a bike, cross-country ski, snowshoe. There's no registration. Guests are welcome. And we go out. We have over 50 approved hike locations. We go beyond our 3-county areas. Some of the places we go to are just so special. I mean, Thatcher Park up in Albany County is just a great park to go to, so we go there sometimes. So all of our leaders are trained. It's a simple training. It's not very complex. Level 1 is the lowest, easiest kind of hike. All of ours are level 1. There are much more strenuous hikes in the peaks, and you can imagine. But we are all level 1. So we're typically less than 1,000 foot of elevation, and we're typically on a Tuesday from 10 to noon with 2 hours, we're typically 2.5 to 4 miles. That's what we do, okay?
This is the kind of the criteria for level 1. It has to be under 1,000 feet of elevation total, and under, is it under 5 miles? No.
Yeah.
Under 8.
Yeah.
I forget.
Well, this is level 1 and like level 1 plus, so you can get to 8 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. So the group is about being outside. It's about the camaraderie. We have usually, on the coldest winter day, we'll have 5 to 10, just the same. And in the June paddle, walk at Goodyear Lake, we'll have 35 to 40. So we have a variety of hikes, popularity, and socially it's a lot of fun. You're outside getting that fresh air and enjoying nature. It's very, just a lot of fun. People love it for the social aspect, and they love it for we're out in nature all around, and somebody else typically is the leader. So you're following along, right? So that's helpful. So a leader gets training. They have to preview the hike. You got to go out ahead of time to make sure, oop, that dam hasn't released and we can't get across there, or some tree has fallen down, okay? Or it's so muddy, all right? And they write an email that goes out to the membership. They lead the hike, and then they file a trip report at the end. So it's pretty easily done.
Yeah.
And
Just a little story.
go ahead, Steph.
I was leading a hike and I decided to do Arnold's Lake Trail, which is by Arnold's Lake. But there's like it's a lollipop. Go out and thing. It was in, I want to say late March, but it was kind of I'm thinking like, okay, you know, when I schedule it, I'm thinking like the snow will probably be close to gone. Well, it wasn't. So I'm like, I went out and it was like we were like breaking through. It took us an hour just to walk through and I'm thinking they're gonna have to helicopter us out. I went with a friend of mine. So it was basically, that's why you preview your hikes, because I was like, abort, abort. We're not going on this hike on Tuesday.
Right. Luckily, we're flexible enough. As long as she went back to our approved list, she just picked another one, and
Yeah.
we told members, location change, you know, blinking, you know, don't go there, go here.
This is impossible.
Right, so that was good. Just a quick aside, some of the things, Tuesday hikes is where you could introduce yourself to our club.
Yeah.
Come to one of our hikes or walks. They're publicized. If you don't feel you have the stamina or strength for 500 feet of elevation or a fire tower or whatever, we are on the Catskill Scenic Trail, we're on rail trails, we're on flat, you know, so Ruby will test. There's a wide variety of
Next week is Greenway.
yeah, Greenway is a flower walk
It's
actually.
like a
next
little
week.
flower walk.
So typical things you might need, a pole or two for stability. You know, the terrain is, we're in the woods, we're on paths. Stability, a third point of contact or 4 points of contact is very important for us. So we do that. I brought a pair of my waterproof hiking boots, but the rail trail and a lot of the flat ones, I've seen many people with sneakers, it's fine. You know, you don't need heavy equipment or expensive. Bug and tick spray is essential as a protection. And Leader and others usually have it, so we can share. These are some waders for tick that I bought because they go so often, especially if they're wearing shorts. I put them around my ankle, they're Velcro, and they have that material that, you know, keeps the ticks away. Most people have a backpack.
Oh, and there's our patch.
When you join, you get a nice patch and a few other goodies, but most people have a backpack. The leader has designated somebody to be the trail, and they stay together with our radio system for safety. So we've thought this through. We have a leader and a follower who keeps all the sheep in between and safe.
The sweep.
The sweep. People have their water, beverages, even in 2 hours. Most people, you know, we stop and break and eat a beverage and a drink, which is great. First aid kit we bring, basic first aid, just in case if they have a cut, scrape, or whatever. We've had people fall. We've had a couple where they emergency room, but it's very rare. And usually it's because they might have been too proud to use sticks. We suggest do your poles. You need that third point. And then somebody asked, what is this? Well, the Saturday, which I'll get to a little bit longer, we'll sit and have lunch. So if you don't want to sit on the bare log, this is a lightweight seat cushion sit-upon. So this is some of the basic equipment most of our hikers use on a Tuesday. As I said, the invitation is there. You want to try us for a Tuesday hike.
So this is also, we're a very social club, just so you know. So the third Wednesday of every month, we have potluck dinners. We try to schedule a program. Potlucks are great. That's one of our members, and he brings the greatest beans. So I always have Ed's beans at my potluck dinners. And in the summer, we do picnics, usually at Fordham Park or at the Lake State Park. But some of the programs, give you an example, we had a gal, and I'm trying to think where she was from, New York State Conservation, talked to us about ticks and tick prevention. And this is how I learned about mitigating your tick problem. It's a great use of your dryer lint. drug,
Yeah.
the chemical that your things are made of.
I couldn't spell it.
No,
I
it
couldn't-
starts with a P.
Yeah, I couldn't spell pronounce the other word, it's just not gonna pronounce
I
this.
wanna say permethrin.
Page 2 in your
Yeah,
footnotes.
permethrin, permethrin.
That's it.
Yeah, so you can spray your dryer lint with permethrin, and then let it dry, and then you can take your recycled little toilet paper rolls, put your dryer lint in the toilet paper rolls and put them around the perimeter of the property. And the field mice and the birds will come and use that material for their nests. And now they are inoculated with the permethrin for the ticks, so anytime they have ticks and they go to their nest, the ticks die.
So now in your evaluation,
So I thought,
you
this is
see
great.
one thing.
The use of dryer lint and toilet paper rolls. So, but it's great programs. You know, we've had.
So,
go ahead.
page 3 of page 2, every quarter we do the Tuesday hikes. We give you a lot of notice as to the Tuesday hikes, okay?
Yeah.
So they're all listed there, okay? We have and then on page 3, what Sarah just talked about, the potluck dinners and programs. So we always announce everything a quarter at a time so people can check their calendars, see if they're available, and participate, okay? So that's the kind of information we put out in our quarterly newsletter.
But it's very, yeah, very social.
Saturday hikes is new, page 1 of your newsletter. Last year, we brought back Saturday hikes, we did 7. We intended them to be a little longer, more strenuous, maybe didn't have to stay within our region. And we had a good turnout. We also limited the group to 20 or less because if you're going up and down a lot of stairs at Catterskill Falls or whatever you might choose, you've got to stay together and stay safe, you know. So this year, we're very happy to say we're back and we have 10 Saturday hikes, April through October. These are different than Tuesday in one other way. They require pre-registration so that we know who's coming and we can keep track of the count. Tuesday, as I said, so far it's unlimited. Whoever comes, joins us, and off we go. You sign in and off you go. So we're very proud of having the Saturday hikes back. They are gaining some new people who are younger in our group who are attending or want more longer physical activity, and we've also gained some guests from outside who might be working every Tuesday and say, "Oh, I want to hike." We had a couple of nurses join us from Bassett at the Catskill Scenic Trail hike, our first one this year. We did a section of that. So that's been kind of a nice comeback in addition to our Tuesday hikes.
We kind of, the idea of starting it was, you know, how can we help build membership, you know, maybe offer it to folks who can't do Tuesdays since it's a job, and maybe want a little bit more activity, so it's been good.
Years ago, we're going to learn more about this in the history that we're going to review. This chapter was very active.
Yeah.
They had.
Tom is a legacy member.
Yeah. My mom was a member. My brother and I are now in. I know of 2 other people who were children of Oneonta people who are also legacy members, which is kind of neat. But the chapter of old went to the Adirondacks often. They went to the lodge. They did the cleanup. They had a weekend outing person, a weekday. They had cross country. They had so many trip leaders. It was very active. And today, I've always been very proud of the niche that we are, that Tuesday hike, and the audience we draw, and our potluck and what we do. And it was nice to add the Saturdays a little bit more, get a few more involved. And so that's been helpful. But there's just so many things to do now. And we hope that the people who come work and join with us enjoy and then stick with it. So we're glad to have added the Saturday.
So this is an example of kind of one of the Adirondack Mountain Club's focuses. We are New York's leader in modern sustainable trail design. So we have a century of experience under our belts, the tools to create a more sustainable future for outdoor recreators. You know, and what's happened too is, with COVID, everybody was coming out and there's lots of use. Some of the trails have really felt that impact. A lot of the trails in the Adirondack Park are legacy trails, meaning like they were, you know, centuries old from people going from point A to point B, basically the shortest distance. And constructed prior to development of modern design standards. So without regular maintenance, you know, highly prone to wet spots, erosion, gullying. So examples of kind of what we do is clearing drainages, clearing blowdowns, doing brushing and marking the trails. You know, and we'll get to this in a minute too, is we sponsor some kids that learn that stuff. So, for example, the professional trail crew, you know, is doing 4 weeks of brushing along the NPT, Northfield Placid Trail. Last year was the centennial of the completion of the NPT, and the professionals and the volunteer trail crews did a lot of much-needed brushing projects. So we're very proud of that. You know, they developed, you know, ways to maintain the trails that mitigate a lot of erosion and how we were like, leave no trace.
Yes.
We like stay on the trail.
One of our trainings, leave no trace.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm piggybacking, you can, the stewardship, the idea
Yes.
that all summer long, ADK hires young adults typically who are at key trail places and junctures and help hikers, you know, in the peaks and up in that area. So that's kind of neat that they're able to answer questions, provide basic information, and sort of, you know, talk to people about where to go, what they want to do, etc. So they do that as a way of monitoring and maintaining the trails too. One of the worst things you can do, and this is what we fight in our area, we'll get a long muddy section. But the only way to get by that is to go around it. And that's really not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to go around and create new trails. You're supposed to stay with it. So, locally, we have a solution.
I'm very proud of this.
Yeah. We've just brought back an emphasis for our group. Our group owns no property. We are a user of the trails. They're DEC, they're Catskill Mountain Club, it's the Audubon Sanctuary, Catskill Rail Trail. All of these trails are owned by others and give permission for the public to use them. And we're the public, so we go and use them. But as a user, we notice they're in different states of repair and need.
Or disrepair.
Disrepair, yeah. So what I thought about was lots of people are out there picking up sticks, and that takes a lot of person power. You know, every week, every month. We don't have that. I said, you know what I see as a niche we could do is light infrastructure. Places we've been that could use a 5-minute bench for somebody to rest, you know, that we could provide, and we could build inexpensively. Places that are 3 to 4 inches of water and mud for 2 months of the year. Yeah, they're on the trail. So these are called elevated walkways. We're not allowed to say the B word. Requires engineering. So elevated walkways, that's Bob Bard, who's the head of our trails maintenance. We were at a block party, and that's one of 8 of those that we built. Last weekend, with the help of the women and men's Oneonta University swim teams, we installed our first 3, and it was wonderful. It's on a new trail in the city. They had one muddy area, and we laid it out so they can stay on the trail
It's
and
part of
continue
the-
on.
They're trying to extend the greenway
Yep.
connecting, so
Yep.
this was part of that.
Down Roundhouse Road.
So we're here, look,
I turned it off.
you pressed something.
Oh, there you go. It's good. So our focus is elevated walkways, benches, kiosks. What's a kiosk?
Like a stand.
It's,
Yeah, when you go to a trailhead, and
You
it
need to
might be
sign
a
in.
box where you can register, get maps, those kinds of things. We're building those simple things, okay? And before I jump to the last one, very proud that we met the Delaware County tourism head at Hanford Mills when we were exhibiting, got an introduction. And she said, ooh, I like what you guys are doing. And she says, I have a matching grant for Delaware County Trails. I want to do stuff to keep tourism high. So we asked our 10 trail people if we could help them with anything. And we did get a request from Catskill Mountain Club, from the Audubon Sanctuary, and from Harvard College for the Henderson Trail. And we were awarded a small matching grant to build infrastructure, walkways, benches, and kiosks. So we're very proud of that this year, that we could help these other groups. We have the labor, we can buy these materials. Home Depot has been our local partner. They deserve a mention. They gave us a very nice discount. It was wonderful. So this is a fun, new activity.
You guys know Henderson Pine Lake is the Hartwick. That's what it is.
Trailblazing is, anybody know what trailblazing is? Yeah. From here to that piano, how do I know to get there? Well, there's a red sign on that tree, right, that says I'm on the trail. And then another red sign when I turn left and I go that way. Sign to sign to notation to notation. Quite a few of the trails need renewed paint or trail blazing so we don't lose people or they don't turn the wrong way.
We've been on lots of trails, and
Yeah.
the tree with the blaze
Yeah.
is
Oh,
lying
yeah.
down.
Yeah, that too, yeah. So we're looking at that. Our interest in this, we kind of want to be known for this so people will contact us and say, we'd like, and we can build, and maybe they can fund, maybe they can't, work that out. We can build these rather inexpensively with treated lumber. The idea is it's sustainable for 10 years. I don't want to have any of us maintain it for 10 years. I want to build it, place it, enjoy it, that would be wonderful. We have run into a regional trails network that has been organized now. We're very excited about that. Otsego County, it's got like 30 organizations coming together to better trails. And a subset of that, of course, would be the Oneonta Trails, not just the Greenway, but another organization is forming just doing trail development. There's lots of opportunities. So that's kind of exciting. So we've made these networking opportunities between our chapter and what we're doing and what the trails we use are doing and how we can help. So yeah, I'm happy and proud of this initiative. It's really been quite a bit of fun and kind of rewarding that we can deliver infrastructure. And let's see, middle of the bottom, I bought a hot iron brand with our logo. See it on the seats? So they know we did those. So Sarah and I can share this. Each year we have a team camp scholarship. I'll talk about how we got started. Dr. Curry Marr, Oneonta University professor, longtime member, wonderful member for us. When he passed away, the chapter raised money in his name and gave it to ADK, got an honorary, brick and notation up at the property, and with extra money that the chapter donated, we were given 2 free camp scholarships. And we used them for high school students in the first and second year. And then some of us said, we should continue
We
this.
want to keep this up.
So I'll take them, we asked our members for donations, and we got more than enough to send 2 more students, and then,
See the next year.
yeah, so 2
Yeah,
years.
so we actually sent 2 boys this past summer, and these twins are the sisters of one of the boys. Because they saw, you know, it's just been really, really great. The year before the boys went out, we had 2 girls go, and it was like all women trail maintenance crew. You know, so this is like all girl crew. The Mount Joe is a pretty important trail for the ADK club. In October of 2023, we finished the work on the Long Trail of Mount Joe, and they had a ribbon cutting and all that stuff. So, you know, part of that is maintaining that.
So we're very happy that our members, some participate by maybe donating more to ADK Club and those kinds of activities, and on a local level, I'm very thankful for the generosity of our members who have provided more than enough to send 2. We typically have enough money a year ahead, which is nice. So each time we fundraise, we're funding for the next year to offer 2 more scholarships. And I'm very, at the advisory council, I think Sarah got some eyebrows raised because she was sharing one of the things we did. We said, well, we provide scholarships. And I think some of the captain of the chef says, you do? That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
A way to support the club. So they will go for a week. Parents transport them up and back. The week they walk in, there's no technology, and they are doing hard labor, trail work for a week. And it's quite rewarding and quite nice, so they really enjoy it. And then, being the educator, they have to do a PowerPoint presentation to our membership in January. So they go in the summer, and then in January, we have this presentation by our camp scholarship people, pictures, descriptions, their take on their week. All of those can be found on our website now, each of the winners for all the years we've given scholarships. So it's kind of a fun way for us to give back locally to some teens, and I'm very proud of our members who have easily given the donations for us before.
And it's really interesting for us to learn kind of the techniques, because they're learning the techniques of how to do a sustainable trail, you know. And a couple years ago, the girls was like, they were moving boulders. I mean, I couldn't believe the size of the boulders.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
hundreds of pounds to clear the trail. Back to you, Sarah.
Back to me.
Just some issue.
Oh, okay, yeah, so the 100th anniversary is 2022. We just finished Johns Brooks Lodge 100th anniversary, and we were very excited to be able to present to our new executive director, Courtney Worrell.
Well, turn to page 5, and here, turn to page 5, and in the middle of page 5, fundraising updates.
$645 for a brick.
Now,
And the
that
Johns Brooks-
sign that you see, the circle,
Johns Brooks
will
Lodge.
be printed for us and go on, I think it goes on a bridge rail.
A bridge rail.
Somewhere, yeah.
Something.
And then you can see next to that, I mentioned the generosity for the teen scholarship on that same
Yeah.
page. Yeah.
So we were really, Courtney came down with Kathy Pedler, who's their advocacy person
Yes.
in Albany.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so this is kind of a little bit about, and then, what is this chapter read?
The idea that there are chapters who take the lead annually for these kinds of outings.
We talked about that.
Yeah, they have a cycle in the paddle, winter, and the fall, and we said, we're gonna take turns with the fall.
So part of the draw for us this fall
Yeah,
is going up there because the Adirondack Rail Trail is now complete from Tupper Lake to Lake Placid. So that's on our bucket list to cycle.
For bike riding.
Yeah. Paul and I skied it this January, where we competed with the snowmobilers.
Oh man, it is a multi-use trail, isn't it? Put this together, and I have it as a handout. Like most organizations, well, how might you connect with us? We have a website, we're on Facebook and Instagram, you can find us, you can follow us. We have a YouTube channel with some of the videos that Tom and others have shot.
Yeah, we have a really great tech gal.
Yes, we do. Ooh, Tam.
Yeah.
We have an email which we encourage people to send email in for any kind of general questions at ADK. And we've added recently this hike phone text line for anybody can call. It comes to my phone, and I let somebody leave a message, and then I always get back to them and tell them it's usually about, where am I meeting for the Tuesday hike? You know, which is fine. You know, whatever it is, we put it in so we have people get a hold of us as an organization.
Any questions?
Any comments, questions?
There was a fee. What is the fee?
Yes, so for a senior individual, it's $45 a year.
This is
Family
the
is $70.
The club. For the
Yes.
club.
And then you say,
And then you say, I want to be designated
Yep.
Susquehanna chapter.
These are the membership brochures here. It's pre-programmed with the Susquehanna chapter, so if anybody wants one, you may have one and look at that. It explains the benefits of publications and staying at the lodge, etc. So these are up on the table also as a handout. And does that help you with that? One of the things we did for our teen scholarships is we bought each of them a family membership for their first year, hoping they'll continue their membership, and we, you know, hook them in a little bit.
Partly it was because if you were a member and you wanted to do this week as a team, it was cheap.
Is there an additional chapter fee or is it
No,
just one?
no.
No.
You join the club and say, I want to be a Susquehanna chapter member.
Yeah, you're actually joining the club.
This is our Saturday,
Just part
this
of
is
it.
our monthly calendar that our tech person puts together. This is out on social media. And all. We don't have anybody on the main street. My mother used to do that decades ago. Walk up and down and hand it up to the businesses. We don't do that anymore. We just electronically send it out and hope we get the libraries and other. So this goes out and so it just does a brief summation of 1 month of the hikes. When the newsletter you had 3 months. And of course there's a QR code for the Saturday because it requires registration. Any other questions, please?
So on the website, you learn where you meet for it?
When you first contact us, either through the email or the hike line, you will get that detail for the first hike that you want to, because you reach me and I'll forward you the email that was sent to all of our members. Okay? So we send the email out typically Sunday for the Tuesday hike. So that everybody knows where it is and whatever, but they get the details on Sunday, where to park, you know, when to be there by. Strenuous, you gotta be able to keep the pace, you cannot go ahead of the leader, and we hope you don't fall behind the sweep. We like to have a hike for the group, not for one. That's very hard to do, but we're working on it all the time. Right now, as I said earlier, many of our hikes are paced at the easy to moderate level. Flat, rail trails, you can read those descriptions, you say, ooh, good introductory hike.
So for the guest,
Yes.
you would just text,
Yeah, you could just get a hold of us by the email, and then you can show up on Tuesday. There's no registration for Tuesday. You will be asked to sign in, and the sign-in is on the back of the page of whereas, I will hold the ADK club, no liability if I, you know. There's a sign in that has a huge, so if you're, bring your attorney, you'll be there all day reviewing that, and you won't be able to hike with us, okay? But yeah, so you just, Tuesdays are open, come, sign in, we do announcements, we ask if anybody's new, somebody would have spotted you typically and tried to have you introduced, and,
In part, partly because we are under the aegis of the ADK's insurance, so it's.
Yeah.
You gotta sign in, you gotta read it.
Yeah, and then we have people sign up if they struggle or something
Or
happens.
they leaving the group, they'll sign up. Nick?
Two questions. Are there maps available of these hikes anywhere?
We do have some resources on our website. One of the maps is a Google map where each of our 50 hikes are located, and maybe a website link. That's kind of cool. And again, our tech person put that together. We don't have, and we have a list of all the approved hikes and possibly their website or whatever. So not direct maps for each one, but you can get there
Find it.
through the website, through that, like if you went to Riddell State Park, that website, they have the map, you know. We have not brought that into us,
Right.
okay?
Because, you could say, oh, the hike's at Riddell Park, and the way they're gonna lead is opposite.
I mean, Gilbert Lake has like 7 ways you can go.
Yeah.
Gilbert Lake's a wonderful resource to us. It's one of our
And
famous.
even like Wilbur Park.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Wilbur Park,
Yeah.
and you could
Yeah.
go a bazillion different ways.
Second question.
I can't believe you remembered. Yes. I wouldn't.
He knows me, so. Would there, say snowshoes, would you have equipment available or that we could borrow or?
No.
Okay.
So, for cross-country ski and snowshoeing, in the last few winters, we've had very little call
Yeah.
for it. Fortin Park, people know that one, north of Oneonta,
Mhm.
up by, St. James out there.
East of Oregon.
The east one, excuse me, yeah. She knows me. I'm the one that gets us lost around the leader more than anybody. I say, turn around! She goes, reverse field, like
Yeah.
the horses.
The fox hunting term,
Yeah,
it's like
reverse
when you
field.
train, it's a reverse field,
Yeah, she yells out, oh, Tom again,
reverse field.
So Fortin Park is not a long one, but it can be very easy for people to choose when we hike it, if they want to snowshoe or cross-country ski at that time. We've had very few, it's gonna be all cross-country ski,
Yeah.
all snowshoe. We've had very few designated that way. And we do not have that equipment. I don't know if Huntington does. I know our library has fishing poles, but we don't do fishing poles. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much.
You were
We
right on
appreciate
time.
that you came out and listened to us. Good job, sir. Very
Good
nice.
job, Tom.
Clerk.
Click. So come out and join the hike.
How are you doing? Good, Ruby. Good. Good to see you. Look at that. Oh, it's still running.